Hello, YouTube. Long time no live stream. Kind of just a spontaneous one. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be working on some stuff, so I haven't done a live stream in like many months, and well, it's free content, so I'm just clicking the broadcast button, and I'll be here to start working on some stuff. So pretty much that's gonna be it. If you guys have questions, feel free to send questions. I don't know how many people are gonna attend since I'm not a live streamer, but we'll see. I'm like, for some reason I cannot see the comments, if there are any comments on the tab area. My YouTube area is being a little strange, but I can see you guys in my OBS, so that's good. What's up, Sachin? Thank you for tuning in. Well, hopefully, I'm not going to be doing too much interesting stuff. Just going to be working on some code here. So, yeah, just going to jump into it and just talk through some of the things that I've been working on. So, I've been quite preoccupied with Chatterbox TTS recently and training it for multilingual purposes. So I have English and Japanese done, which is nice, and I want to test a few things on Chatterbox, such as language embeddings, language tags, language tokens for Inference, and to do that I need to modify the training code here. So yeah, Sachin, go ahead and ask away. I probably will. I'll try to be as responsive as possible, but I do want to get some work done, so I'll be busy doing that too. Here it is. Tokens, placeholders. Can you throw some idea on all the pre-trained model like VE, T3, etc.? I guess I'll have to ask for clarification. Do you mean like, can we fine-tune those? If so, then yes, all of those can be fine-tuned. T3 is what we're fine-tuning. I believe the T3 model is the both the text token and speech token predictor for this. So yeah, and then in terms of extending the tokenizer and weights, I'll be releasing it or uploading it to GitHub sometime. But real quick, for the extension, you know, I am no machine learning expert, so I usually do all of this with the help of LLMs. But I have a general concept on how all of these things work, so it helps me get these things done. So probably not the best code, disclaimer. But what I do have here is a tokenizer extender. And so what this does is it takes the text token area, which is here. So it checks the current sizes for these two embeddings and then the text head, and then it extends it to the vocab size that I specify. In this case, I specified 2000. Where is it at? New vocab size. For this, I would just pass in 2000, and then it would allow me to lengthen those embeddings so that we can train on a larger tokenizer. So that's kind of like an overview of this. So once we extend that, then once we extend the embeddings inside of the model itself, then we can use a larger tokenizer. And all of that I'll try to detail in a video later. And I'm trying to simplify this process a little bit so that we're not calling everything from the command line interface. But yeah, to train on additional tokens, you do need to extend the weights though. But the two areas that I found that you need to extend are just the text embeddings and then the text head. inside of the T3 underscore CFG model weights. So yeah, that's all you pretty much need to train in additional tokens, and I was able to verify that by training additional tokens in Japanese. So hopefully that answers the T3 question, but there's a lot of different stuff in there. Lion Ryan, you shouldn't be in the chat. What's going on here? I was supposed to go to the gym, or I was supposed to gym today, but well, I'm kind of busy with text-to-speech stuff, so I was like, should I go gym or should I live stream? I decided to live stream, but I'll be going to the gym. I know I'm losing too much strength, but you got it, brother. The init underscore method. Let's take a look at that. To be transparent once again, yeah, I mostly had the LLMs do this for me, so I don't know exactly in detail how this script works, which is why I got to go through and clean it up so that it can read through it. But I guess this is a initialization method for new tokens. So yeah, probably not going to be able to fully answer your question at the current moment for what the heck this is, because a lot of this stuff has been vibe coded, but it works. So once I get things working, then I go back and understand it. It helps me out with my workflow. It's kind of like reverse engineering, and I love reverse engineering things. Supermassive, train a French and German model for Chatterbox. Oh, funny you mentioned French and German. That's exactly what I was working on before I started the live stream. Here we go. So I have these. So okay, so I'll just go over real quick what I'm going to be doing for French and German. So oh, excuse me. I have two datasets, two Amelia Yoda's datasets that I am going to be training on. So in order to train on them, what I'm going to try to do is to add these tokens before the text gets, or I'm going to add these. I'm going to basically add these tokens so that when the model trains on the language, the text audio pair for this language, it can try to associate these tokens with the language. So there are a couple things I need to do for this. So first, I need to add the FR and DE tokens into the tokenizer, which I'm going to do right now. And then I just need to add them into training. Now, since these are Amelia datasets, I don't really have access to the text files themselves. And to extract those text files, it's going to make the process too difficult. So what I'm doing is just during the pre-processing part of the training, we are just appending this or prepending this to the text that we have here. So high level on what I'm going to be doing with that. Real quick, I'll show you how I'm extending the tokenizer. It's pretty rudimentary. I'm simply just going to go into placeholders. I'm going to add FR for French, and I'm going to add DE here, and then I'm going to go to 695, add in FR, and then 696, going to add DE. So we now have these tokens in here that we can train on and hopefully condition to tell the model that after FR and DE, we have French and German. So the thing that I need to figure out now is how the heck do I work with two datasets inside of Amelia, or two different splits of datasets. And so that's what I'm going to try to figure out here. But yeah. Ugh. Yeah, let's see. Can you train the model with nonverbal sounds? Yes. I believe you can. If we take a look inside of the tokenizer here, it seems like Resemble AI actually has these nonverbal tokens in here. We just really don't have I'm assuming these tokens aren't too present inside of the data set. So if these were inside of the data set, I assume the model would learn, but we don't have too many automatic speech recognition models that kind of implement these nonverbal tokens into speech, or it doesn't really understand where to put them yet. So I assume, I mean, there are companies that seem to be working on that, so waiting for those to come out a little bit more so that we can get better annotations. All right, but to the work that I'm trying to get through here, the next step I need to figure out is how do I train on two different splits of Amelia Yoda. So where am I supposed to be at? Load dataset. Load dataset. Okay, so I got two sections here for load datasets, and I just need to figure out a way to modify this area so that we can load two different Amelia datasets. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. So I've been using this thing called Claude Code, and Claude Code is fantastic. It's able to go through the repository, help you figure out structures for things, and it has much better context on the projects that you're working on. So I'm glad to see these things are getting better and better, which is wild. So first we're going to say, have this fine-tuning data script here, and I need to figure out how to load it's two different data sets from Amelia Yoda's, and we'll go ahead and say the line I'm interested in is at 789. I'll say, how do we do this with Hugging Face? Alright, so go ahead, shoot that in there. And then we do have Amelia Yoda's Hugging Face. Go ahead, throw this in here. And then, oh, it's so zoomed in. My gosh. Okay, so here we have it. French and German model for Chatterbox. That is currently what I'm working on. So yeah, French and German. So okay, we've got French. Oh, we've got German here, and then we've also got French. So we'll see if we can figure out how we can do this inside of the training. But how much did the H100 training cost you? For training, it for the Japanese model, it trained it on about $60 worth of compute with Beam Cloud. And so a cool little service that I've been using for training, they reached out to me. They reached out to me to kind of like show me how I could use their service, and I think it's pretty cool. Is we just put this decorator here for a function, and then we can just run it in the cloud. So to do that here, I ran H100 for probably like 10 hours, and it was about maybe more than 10 hours, probably like 13 to 15 hours, and like $60. I think per hour for the H100 is like $3. So the neat thing is that I specified H100, but since they had some H200s available, it actually just allowed me to train with the H200s, which was nice. Let's see. Seems like link split. Okay. Yeah, no, I could have fine-tuned it on my 4090 and it would have been much cheaper, but my room would also be much hotter, so didn't want that. Okay, wait, hold on, what's going on here? To load two different datasets, here's how to modify the dataset loading, language split, list of language splits. Okay, so these are gonna be lists. Supports loading via single language split. Okay, sure. I agree. List. But yeah, no, 60 bucks. I don't know if it would train like that from scratch. I actually don't know how much effect the English pre-training on 500,000 hours of data did from Resemble. But yeah, it's able to speak Japanese. There are some quirks to it that I've been discovering. So it speaks English with a Japanese accent when using Japanese audio. And then also one other weird thing is that English voices, for whatever reason, cannot speak Japanese unless you mix in English and Japanese text to inference on together. So I was like, what the heck? I was trying to figure this. This problem has taken me almost like freaking 2 days to investigate. And I've gotten nowhere. So yeah, there's that. I want to go over it in a video because it's been quite time consuming. All right, so what do we have here? Link splits, link split, multi. Okay. Data files. Okay, I assume we can just pass it like that. Sure. All right. Well, let me tell Claude that we can find them. Where's it at? Just as a reference, we can find them in the repo with the paths. DE and French. Right. Except T3, other pre-trained model checkpoints are language agnostic. For a different language, we just need to fine-tune T3. From what I've figured out so far, yes. Hold on, let's see. I'll answer your question in one moment. You want to load? Modify. Okay. Concatenate datasets after loading. One thing about data arguments field. Multiple splits. Sure, let's go with one. Okay, yeah, language agnostic. All of the components seem to be fine with Japanese, except the only one that we needed to fine tune is T3. Now, I think S3 Gen is for like how the model sounds. So the S3 Gen model is the one that converts the speech tokens from T3 into a mel spectrogram, which I don't remember if it also handles the mel spectrogram, but it handles converting these speech tokens into audio. So I think if we wanted to get maybe more accurate sounding Japanese, we would just fine tune the S3 Gen. Um, oh, I don't want to hard code it via arguments. And then, oh, the other part is there is the VE dot safe tensors, which I believe is like a voice encoder's model. And that one seems to be language agnostic as well. But I wanted to try something different with like maybe like the VE section, the voice encoding section, to see if I averaged the embeddings that came out of that between an English and Japanese voice, if I could get the English voice speaking Japanese without having to condition text on English before speaking Japanese. But that probably didn't make any sense. That's just me kind of rambling thoughts out. But yes, long story short, I think T3 is the only one that's you need to fine tune. What does it say? Flexibility. Yes, looks good. All right, yes. What's up, Vanny? If you buy, can you get the Kimmer TTS like your real voice? I'm not too sure what Kimmer TTS is, and I'm not too sure what you're buying. But there are several solutions out there that exist that you can do voice cloning, but nothing's going to be as accurate as yourself yet. They still lack a certain feel to them when speaking, but you can get pretty close to it. 11 Labs is pretty good with it, but that's a corporate solution that you have to pay for. Multilanguage. Alright, yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, alrighty. So let me go ahead and change my model paths here. We're no longer going to be using Japanese. Leave that. Is okay. No. Alright. And then I have some predefined calls. French, German. And then we can specify it. This. We can just do that. Link paths. Plop. Okay, this should work. Should work here. Yeah, well, shoot. Let me, where the heck, fine. I got so many things open. Let me close some things. Fine tune, where you at? Alright, swap it over. Cloud code, come back. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Terminate. Throw this here, don't need that. I see your question, Peter. Give me one moment. Let me find my T4 for my GPU. Alright, I'm gonna test this out with the actually, I don't want to incur any costs yet too greatly. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and run this like that. Okay, Peter O'Loughlin. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe a stupid question, but it looks like I'm using VS Code. What mods am I using? Is Claude running locally? So, I'm currently using Cursor. It's based off of VS Code. I'm using Cursor inside of WSL2 with Claude code for the CLI installed on this WSL instance, and that's pretty much it actually with those are the big mods. So Claude isn't running locally. It's provided by Anthropic, so unfortunately we can't run it locally, which it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, that's what I got. Oh, in the world? Huh? Okay. Call.md. Some specified arguments are not used by the Hugging Face argument parser. What is that in the beginning? Right. All right, we'll get that figured out. But yeah, currently right now I'm gonna try to run everything on Beam Cloud, just so I'm not running it all locally on my computer. The bandwidth and network is much faster on the cloud than it is on my local computer, and I don't want to download 300 gigabytes worth of training data because I'm slowly running out of space on my SSD. So I'm gonna try to cloud train where possible. Recognizing the links, these special argument list arguments. Okay. Alright, let me just verify a few things though. Why is it opening it on? I don't get why it's opening it on a separate area. Oh, I already have French and Dutch, German tokens inside of here. So sure. I already have. There's already 2 tokens in here that actually work for German and French, so I don't need to put them in here. So I'm just gonna replace these placeholder ones, and then I'll modify the pre-processing part so that it sends in lowercase d. All right, there we go. I'll do that. Yeah, there was like I messed up on training Japanese like 3 or 4 different times, which wasted like $40 because I didn't verify some of the pre-processing for the data beforehand. I don't know why it says IDE disconnected here, but Midnight Jesus, thank you for tuning in. I've been using GPT for real time and feeding the chunks into my trained Obviously, to get a character voice, not ideal. I'm looking for a lightning fast inference with a proper character voice. Any tips? Oh, I ran out of characters? I don't know. Oh, you ran out of characters on the previous message. Lightning fast inference. Well, I heard the GPT-4 real-time model is actually really fast. So if you need something faster, you would need to go local, and there are some fast local LLMs, but that is a little bit beyond my area that I'm knowledgeable in. I know they've got like Quen, you've got Llama. You probably need to run like a 7 billion parameter one locally, or like Quen 3 billion. I think they got. But obviously, the quality of those are going to be lower than what you could have GPT-4 do. Yeah. So, oh, I misread. GPT-4 real-time TTS, I think, is what you're referring to. There are some solutions locally, like GPT Sovits. You can get fairly fast, but time to first token is still going to be like half a second. The best bet that you're going to get is going to be Style TTS. Style TTS is literally like the fastest local model that you can run, which is what Kokoro TTS is based off of. All right, let's go ahead and run this. Question about languages. Does it support Canadian French? I don't know. Wait, I do know. Really, right now it does not, because it probably wasn't trained with it. But in order to get it ready for Canadian French, you would just need a Canadian French dataset, and I don't know how available a Canadian French dataset is. So, if you have the dataset, you can usually train it for text-to-speech. Appreciate it, Midnight. Of course, I'll do my best. Okay, still messing up here. Let me look at the code. See what's going on. Okay, so it doesn't like this right here. Let's see. Let me see how you can pass how can you pass a list into a parser arg? Takes one of our arguments. Okay, let's see. Does it use an args? Alright, we're gonna try it one more time with the prompt and see what's going on here. Ah, shoot. All right, let's throw that in there. Yeah, no, that's the difficulty with accents is the majority of datasets out there are unfortunately curated for the most available audio that's out there. So I would assume France French is the predominant French that you'll probably be hearing. If you do curate a Canadian French dataset, you definitely can fine tune it, and it should speak or should sound Canadian French. Now for Chatterbox TTS, I don't know too much if you'd be able to get that in because I'm still figuring things out. But I know for previous text-to-speech architectures that I've worked with, if you just train on that data, you have your text-audio pairs, it will output that. It'll output the text in that audio, whatever you trained it on. All right, let's try this one more time. CNR Games, thank you for tuning in. Of course, this was like a very spontaneous live. Normally I don't go live, so yeah, kind of just well, kind of here. So that's great. Thank you for tuning in, though. Appreciate it. All right, so we've done this 3 times and we're not getting anywhere. So what I'm going to do, instead of try to figure this out myself, we're going to say, look into this file here. I'm still getting all right, but yeah, I could probably handle this by doing single by passing in single arguments, but I don't want to do that. I could do That's 4 times in a row. All right, we'll go and do this manually. So, alrighty. Got a code. Split. Let's see. I want to see how this is working. Parser, Hugging Face arguments, parser, the subclass. Okay. So how do we use this? Yeah, no, unfortunately, Koki TTS X TTS2, yeah, that was unfortunate to see, but open source community is keeping it alive, so. Alright. See here, so. Ready? So, yeah, when I'm using these LLMs to figure things out, if brute forcing it doesn't work, I will move over to a minimal example for a test script so that I can understand how things work a little bit more in detail, and so that if the model is missing something, then at least I know how to understand what it's missing and then fix it myself. So that's the route I'm going with right now, because it's not allowing me to pass in multiple languages for that argument. Now, I assume there's some documentation that I could read online for that, but we're gonna figure it out this way. Okay. Don't know how that's gonna change much. Just changed it here. It made its own test script. What? Test Hugging Face parser. Okay. Okay, well that didn't help me understand it. Because it did everything internally. Well, test args, okay. Okay. Okay, so yeah, no, we'll just debug. Test R is just a list of stuff that's being passed in. Okie dokie. And parsed. Okay. Okay. I get it. What happened to Koki TTS? Koki TTS, they shut down, which I think is what he was referencing. So it was unfortunate to see, but yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive to do text to speech and stuff like that. All right, let's see if this works with just one. Okay, it does work with just one. What is... is still there. All right. Having variables here. As if it was coming in. Yeah, XTTS was kind of in like a weird spot when it was trying to be a commercial success, I think. The model itself was great, but not as good as the leading ones, and I feel like there just wasn't enough customers that was trying to that were supporting them. Like 11 Labs and Play HT both sounded better than XTTS in my opinion, and so that's what they were trying to compete with. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Huh? What? I was calling it wrong? Huh? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. We don't need that section anymore. Huh? Oh my god. Splits. Yeah, 11 Labs V3 is pretty great. Like, I think models are starting to get there, because they're starting to annotate their data sets better. And so, you know, we're hoping. I think what the open source area really needs in order to push text-to-speech models further is we need a model that can annotate datasets better. Like the current models that annotate datasets, like Whisper, just simply aren't good enough for the robust annotation that we need. And that is my take on that. Yeah, the issue is that like the speech recognition models out there that create transcripts seem to they don't understand, they don't have a fundamental understanding of language, so they're not able to annotate emotions, nonverbal areas, stuff like that. Um, or at least I haven't seen any. So if anyone knows of them of ones like that out there, I would love to know, because yeah, that is something I'm waiting for. All right, so I just spent, let's say, 30 minutes trying to resolve resolve something that was simply due to calling it incorrectly without the S here. That is just because I wasn't reading things, and I blame myself for that. So that friggin' sucks. But it's okay. We'll get to see the code process now. Yeah, Whisper is good. Like the transcription, it's fairly solid for most of the languages out there, but or not most of the languages, but the top spoken languages. But it doesn't capture emotion, or it doesn't timestamp them in the right areas, stuff like that. I mean, they can probably be fine-tuned for that. I have seen some studies out there where they're working on things like that. Like, for example, there is like this speech understanding model, GitHub. OSUM. There's this OSUM model that I saw like the other month that seeks to achieve this, where it's like these models should be able to understand speech. So we can do things like emotion, style, gender, age, and it can output those tokens or output those predictions at the end of the transcription. So it's being worked on, but outputting it at the end of the transcription is still not at the level we need to be at. We need to be able to kind of know what parts of the audio it's at, so that we can better label the data. But there are some things that can, like 11 Labs, for example. 11 Labs Scribe. 11 Labs Scribe is supposed to, what is that? Deep Scribe. Never heard of Deep Scribe. 11 Labs Scribe is supposed to be able to do this. Tone, emotion detection, stuff like that. Oh, wait. Upcoming features. Okay, so upcoming features, tone and emotion detection. So my thinking is that they already have the tone and emotion detection version of Scribe themselves. It's just not open. And then also Fish Audio has been working on open audio. I don't know why they're being called open audio, but they also have a model that they used to annotate the dataset. So they have their own speech to text model to be released that can caption audio with emotion, tone, speaker information. So they have one as well too, which is why Fish Audio also sounds very good, and you can use nonverbal tokens. And so I'm just waiting for these type of models to be released a little bit more, so that we can have better data annotations, you know, motion markers, tone markers, special markers. That would be great. So yeah, I think we'll see that this year, so that'll be nice. Thank you for tuning in, Joni. Yeah, and of course, I mean, I'm just a dude working on text-to-speech stuff that I find interesting, and I put it out there. So I'm glad you enjoy it and are able to find some value out of it. But yeah, the stream is streaming. I haven't streamed in a while. I want to start streaming a little bit more. Well, to be honest, streaming is easy content for me to create. And so if I'm already working, I can just stream, and that's just content that I don't have to record. So for YouTube, I think streaming would be a little bit easier for me to create content, but because it's things I'm already doing. But yeah, that's just a random tangent on YouTube aspirations. What's up, Cartoon Rush? Thank you for tuning in. There's what Japanese, all right? Subtitles for this one old anime. Yeah, no. I think we are due for a little bit. We are due for more accurate text to like audio to speech, or no, audio to text, speech to text models, so that we can get better annotations, better subtitles, stuff like that. I have been looking out for a model that is capable of matching kind of the cadence and flow of one language to another, but I haven't really found one for that yet. So what I mean is, like, I should be able to take a Japanese a line in Japanese and then convert it to English text to speech while maintaining the kind of same cadence and intonation as the Japanese spoken sample. I think 11 Labs has something like that already. I haven't seen anything robust open source for that though. So, yeah. Yeah, speech to speech for emotion real time. Oh, that'll be crazy. I did see, I don't know if you guys followed the there's this other repository. I had like this real time voice changing video I made a few months back. It's what's it called? Seed TT Seed TT no. Seed VC GitHub. This Seed VC model, I think they're working on like this voice accent conversion that I think maybe will help for speech to speech. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting to see if this gets further development. But yeah, CVC was cool. I played around with CVC. Okay, so there's this. I'll have to figure this out off stream. But for whatever reason, when I'm trying to download large data sets with Beam to train, so Beam is this cloud service that I've been using to train models. If I'm trying to download a lot of Hugging Face files, it seems to think that my function completes when I haven't completed my function. So I'll need to ask why it's doing that to figure this out, so that I can train on larger data sets. But okay, I'm not gonna be able to start a training session on this, but I think I have everything that I need to get going with this. I really just needed the tokenizer, the ability to use 2 different data sets from Hugging Face, and then the pre-processing part of the pre-processing part of the code to be modified for French and German to inject these tokens. Yeah. Wondering at one point if agentic LLMs could handle audio operations. For labeling and stuff like that. Probably. Anything is possible, really. You know, I think labeling. Yeah, I don't know. With AI, quote unquote, everything seems possible. I just don't know how we do that. Yeah, RVC is not able to tag the data because I don't think it has any understanding of, or it's not trained on the understanding of, oh, this is laughter, so we're gonna put laughter here. It's just I think it's just training for prosody, pitch, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, the text to speech transcription, all of that area is that industry is going to take a big hit from these bigger and better AI models for sure. I don't think there's any doubt about that at all. How many days does it take to train? Well, I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work. This is all experimental. From what I've heard, the guys over at Chatterbox, they're training a multilingual model, but they're running into issues where there's overlapping tokens between the languages, and so that makes the speech strange. I've run into this as well with Tortoise TTS, but what I did back then was introduce, I had these language tags at the beginning, which kind of helped out the model. But I don't know if that's going to be the case with Chatterbox TTS. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to check it out. I can probably, instead of trying to run this on the cloud, I could sacrifice 400 gigabytes of storage space on my computer to try to get this tested out locally. But whether or not I want to do that, I could do that. Because Yeah, it doesn't want to see it. I'll have to ask why it's not working on Beam. Okay, so I could do this and then run it locally instead. I don't know if this is gonna butcher the stream though, because it's gonna start using my network bandwidth. Yeah, no. For RVC, it does match. It does match prosody. But I think it's just trained on a different objective, which is why it's not able to achieve it. And I don't think fundamentally it understands text. So yeah, it's missing a little bit. Yeah, IPA token master race. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Oh man, my computer or my network is only able to download at 11 Mbps or 11 megabytes per second. So what does that come out to? 400 gigs divided by 12 megabits per second. How many seconds is that? And I don't even have to do any calculations anymore nowadays. I just do 400 gigabytes divided by 11 megabytes per second download gets me how long of a time to wait. Yeah, I don't even have to do unit conversions anymore. Just throw into an LLM. It'll do the conversion for me. And oh man. 10 hours and 6 minutes to download 400 gigabytes. Yeah, yikes. Yeah. I mean, technically, I'll be going to work and it'll be done by then. But yeah. Yeah, LLMs are crazy. Yeah, I was doing some pneumatic calculations for an air system, and I was like, man, I don't even need to do any unit calculation or anything. I can just use some of these LLMs, verify the LLM calculations, and boom. Helps out quite a bit. Do I intend to release synthetic voices? Do I intend to release a fork where I can train any language, kind of like F5 TTS? Yes, that is my intention. My intention for this is to create a Gradio interface. So I have this Gradio interface actually up. And... oh, shoot. Did I just cancel it? Okay. I didn't cancel it. So I have this Gradio interface right now that I'm also working on to be able to train models. Right now, it's just limited to inference. So yeah, the goal is to be able to do that, kind of like I did with the AI voice cloning repository. So I've got this here. If we go to local host 7860, we can actually inference here. Here, I'll show you guys the Japanese model. We'll do that. We'll go and do there's English, CUDA, voice, Marine, and then I'll just throw some Japanese text into here. Awesome. Let's see. All right. So yeah, I've got this interface right here. This is for inference. What I plan to do is add some tabs into here and then allow for training. Very similar to how I've done in the past with previous videos. So yeah, we'll see. But it seems to be taking a little bit of time, and it's a little bit longer than I expect. But yeah, I'll update you guys on YouTube with that. No, yeah. I was working on like a local bot type of thing as well. It was called Open Neurosama. If you know what Neurosama is, an AI VTuber. And yeah, to run things locally, you need a very powerful system. And a lot of the models you're going to be running are going to be small quantized models in order to get the latency that you need. Like time to first token, I think you can get down to about like half a second, 1 second. if you're using the smallest of LLMs and then you're using like the fastest of text-to-speech models, you can definitely get it down to like half a second. But yeah, that's kind of just the current limitation, unfortunately. So in the comments, I saw you talking about adding new languages to GPT Stovitz. How to do that? I don't know. I was going to look into it, and then I got caught up with Chatterbox TTS. The reason is Chatterbox reminded me very similar, very closely of Tortoise, and I'm fairly comfortable with Tortoise. So I was like, okay, I can learn how to train languages in Chatterbox a little bit quicker than I can GPT Stovitz, because I don't know how the whole tokenization works in GPT Stovitz and stuff like that. I would say I need to look into the code a little bit more for that. But yeah, probably it would be the same thing with GPT Stovitz. All you need to do to train a new language is you just need a tokenizer. And then you just start training on a bunch of text audio pairs. Usually that's how simple the text to speech, training these text to speech models is. Most of the hard work is already done by those who develop the models and then the training scripts. So what I'm really doing isn't the hard part, which is just curating a data set and then figuring out how to run a data set through the fine-tuning scripts. So yeah, the whole OpenAI, yeah, it's despite them not being open too much, they did release Whisper and stuff like that, GPT-2, but GPT for tool calling, I think is very good, and it's very fast as well. So even if you use like a local model, I feel like you could make it, you could have it call tools that a local model wouldn't be able to decide upon. Okay, so I've got this text here. I've got this Japanese speech. And let me show you guys some weird quirks with it, though. Let me see if you guys can hear this text to speech. Okay, you can't. Turn off my music. No music. Stream audio. Okay. Okay, so this is the multilingual model that I trained for Japanese and English. And so this Chatterbox model mostly maintains the English tokens. And it allows me to speak both Japanese and English. So we have this here. Let's go ahead and generate for this Japanese sentence. And it'll speak out Japanese accurately. So. Oh, that was actually wrong. Bad demonstration. Let me see if it does it correctly on the second one. Okay, so it does that correctly. It can also speak English. I can speak English. Generate speech there. It'll speak English with a Japanese accent, so take a listen to that.
I can speak English.
And then it'll speak Japanese again. A weird thing, what I was trying to figure out like for a few days was that if I use a English reference voice, this English reference voice here is not able to speak these Japanese tokens, even though I trained on these Japanese tokens. So there's something else going on in this model architecture that's not allowing for that. So let's take a listen to this.
Sound de ben ne, a watered abalak, and fold, allured uttered.
So we just have a bunch of weird mumbo jumbo inside of this text, inside of this generated audio here, even though the model can speak Japanese, which to me it was like, okay, what the heck, what is going on here? So I played around with a few things. If we did this, for example, this can speak English. If we condition it on English, now it can speak Japanese, which I don't know. I don't know why. But we'll take a listen to this. So it'll say this can speak English and then switch over into Japanese.
This can speak English. Katai jibeta no kanshoku wo ganmen ni ajiwai.
Alright, and then it can now speak Japanese. So I don't know why an English reference audio is not able to speak Japanese only. It needs to have English inside of the sentence I'm trying to generate, and it needs to have the English sentence at the beginning. It cannot be at the end. It needs to be at the beginning. So this is a weird issue, a weird problem that I haven't figured out for kind of like the pipeline. But I did Frankenstein a solution into here using Tortoise TTS. So I actually I literally just use the Wave2Vec models from Tortoise TTS to exclude these audio tokens so that we don't hear it. So we just hear the Japanese part.
硬い地べたの感触を顔面に味わい、彼は自分がうつ伏せに倒れたのだと気づいた。
So with this Frankenstein solution, now English can speak Japanese without having the primed English portion inside of here. So, yeah, no, that's just a weird little quirk. So hopefully you guys didn't get lost in that little ramble section there. But yeah, hopefully you guys will be able to kind of understand what I was going through there. If not, please ask questions. But yeah, Japanese voices for Japanese sentences. Japanese voices can do everything in this model. So that's the only caveat is English voices need that little quirk, that little solution that I just showed. Cartoon Rush. Have I tried Codex? I have not tried Codex. I heard Codex wasn't as good as was not as good as Claude Code, so I just used Claude Code. What happened here? What in the world happened here? Okay, glad you didn't get lost. Appreciate it. Okay. So I do think I must have messed up my downloading here by running the script. Shoot, does that mean I have to restart the downloading section? Oh my god. Oh my god. I swear to God, if I have to restart the German downloading, I think maybe for this dataset, I will. Okay, no, it saved it. Okay, cool, perfect. Oh, wait. I think it saved it. I don't know. Whatever. I think what I'm gonna do with this Amelia dataset is I'll just clone it. I think I can do that. I think I can clone it, and then just break it down into more digestible chunks for Beam Cloud to download and use. Interesting. I gotta look into MCPs, model context protocols, or whatever it is. I don't really understand how MCPs work, and I'm probably not using it to its fullest. But yeah, I gotta get into that. For like the inference script, in order to speak, yeah, like if you're using an English for the model that I trained for Chatterbox TTS, if you're using an English reference, oh, you guys can't see anything that I'm doing inside of code right now. For the Chatterbox TTS model that I trained on Japanese with the English tokens, in order to speak Japanese for an English reference audio voice, you need to have the sentence start with English. So you have your first section of English, then you have the Japanese that comes after. So that's a weird quirk. I don't know why that exists. And I think it has to do something with the voice embeddings that are used before the speech. Yeah, I think it has something to do with the voice embeddings, which is this VE model. Where is it at? Which is this VE safe tensors model on this left-hand side here that handles how the voice sounds, maybe the acoustics, prosody, all that stuff, pitch, and that prevents the model from using English reference voices to speak Japanese from the beginning. I think that's really it. But yeah. Music back in here. Sorry, probably just blew your guys' ears out with the YouTube video there. MCP is the same as adding a tool. Now you're gonna chat. Oh, okay. So MCP is just a toolbox. I think I've heard that reference before. It's kind of like, you know, a box of tools that a model can use and reference. I just don't know how to use it. Like, how the heck do I add a tool to the toolbox? So that's what I'd got to figure out. And I got to figure that out. But okay, I think we can can I clone on a hugging face data set? Okay, so I think I can download the Hugging Face or copy this over, because I think it's too big. Huh. So I would really like to be able to try and train this in the cloud, because I really don't want all of this data stored on my computer. It's just too much. Shoot. Let me try streaming. Okay. Let's try streaming. See if this is something that we can figure out. I'm gonna stop this here, so I don't want to continue running it. Okay, let's try to do this with streaming. There are issues with streaming here, so I can't use it yet. So I'll need to make some modifications for it. I'm going to terminate this and make a new Claude Code terminal. Curious, am I able to watch anime without English subtitles? Depends on the anime, but wholesale probably no. My Japanese studies have unfortunately struggled over the past 3 years ever since AI took over, and so yeah, I've been very inconsistent. So usually if I try to watch anime without subtitles, what happens is there are sections and chunks of anime that I fully understand. I'm like, yes, of course, hi, soul desu. And then there are other parts where I'm like, what the heck is going on? And the parts where that happens are usually the ones where the vocab is a little bit more in depth than what I've covered. So I think it's a vocab issue. But yeah, there's a lot of sections that I can watch completely without needing English subtitles, and then there are sections where I'm like, okay, I'm lost. Alrighty. Okay, so yes, there are these loading a streaming dataset. With number of processes. So go ahead and comment out number of processes. I don't know why I'm not able to just press up to get those back. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alrighty, I'm back. Alrighty, I didn't even start this. Oh my god. No, I'd say my Japanese still has so much more to go. I've got a lot of a lot of progress I need to make on Japanese still. It's crazy. What's up, Dimtse Kana? Welcome. I should say be saying welcome to you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll probably be tuning out very soon here though, so probably maybe like another 10-15 minutes, give or take. Like my YouTube dashboard is all messed up, so I'm not even able to see how many people came to watch. So that'll be interesting to take a look at later to see how many people tuned in during the live stream. But yeah, I mean, I'm here if you guys have questions to ask, all that fun stuff. Yeah, I feel like slowly winding down with the work that I'm doing here. Is Claude Code expensive? No, it's 20 bucks a month. And the amount that I use Claude Code is if I'm using it, if I'm very actively using it, I will reach the limit for the $20 tier. But, you know, I can just spin it up the next day. But when Claude Code runs out, I have to turn my brain on and start programming. So I could just fork out $100 and level up my tier, but I don't want to do that. So yeah, you've got your $20 tier, $100, and $200. Yeah, $200 if you don't want to run out. But yeah, usually when I run out, I'm like, okay, stop being lazy and read some code. And as the models get cheaper, I can see it just getting better and better though. Like better and better, cheaper and cheaper. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Gemini just released Gemini CLI. So they've got some big competition. So I'm gonna test out Gemini CLI so that when I run out of Cloud Code, I can use it. So I need to use my brain even less. And apparently Gemini CLI is free, so Google just gets to take your data. But I'm sure you could opt out of them taking your data. That's all good, CNR. I have kind of like an imposter syndrome when it comes to ML and AI stuff too. It's because I don't fully understand it at a fundamental level for many things, but I try my best. I heard Cloud Code via API is very expensive though, so yeah. What's up, Blood Mage? Thank you for tuning in. Passing by, since it's been a while since you caught me live. Well, it's been a while since I caught myself live. I haven't been live in a long time. The current progress on Vivi RVC. RVC is kind of done. I don't really do RVC stuff too much. Vivi, unfortunately, I kind of sunset Vivi like almost last year. So I would love to get back to Vivi, but I'm just busy with many other things. So yeah, would like to get back to it though. Maybe someday. But yeah, no, Gemini has Gemini CLI, so go check it out. I heard it's it's good, not as good as Claude Code, but definitely better than Cursor. Value training split Japanese not found. What would I have Japanese at? Okay, so I'm getting JA found here. Why? Train split name. Oh. Train split DE. Can I do FR here too? Train split name. Train split. So I guess I can do this. I can do train splits name. Train splits. Train splits. Default factory list. Language. And this is not an optional field. Can I add this optional? Okay. Train splits. Let's train splits. Let's do that. Let's try to run this again. Okay. What's up, Johnny? Thank you for tuning in. Oh my goodness, you guys are messaging quite a bit in here. I'm a little lost in where I left off, but yeah, no, Blood Mage. Yeah, the biggest thing is to get a. The biggest thing is just get a a NVIDIA PC. Unfortunately, you got to get NVIDIA. So 3060, 12 gigabyte seems to work still fine. I do have a 12 gigabyte 3060 that I sometimes use for testing, and it can get you kind of in there. But yeah, no, I don't think you need anything too crazy. Yeah, but yeah, definitely old potato laptop is gonna explode if you try to do that. Which, though, if you have like access to cloud services, you can use literally any old potato laptop, and as long as you have a network connection, you should be fine. But Yeah, I've been trying to look more into cloud services you can use that you can use their GPUs instead, which is why I very much like Beam and using them. So um, yeah, don't forget to leave a like. Yeah, I don't really mind too much. You can leave a like if you like it, but you don't have to. Train splits. Let's see. But alrighty. So remote code. Yeah, the AI stuff is still AI quote unquote. It's still in its infancy, I think, right now. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it, but I think we're barely scratching the surface with all the stuff we're gonna see in the future. It's gonna be a interesting world. Alright, train split, train not found. What in the truck? Train split name. If data args not in, train split not found available. Raw dataset loaded. Alright, I'll ask Claude. Hey there, how would you resolve this? Resolve this in the code here. I have a call to it like so. I think if you want state of the art, local training is probably gonna take a long time. If you really want state of the art, I say just go use it. Go use a commercial service like 11 Labs, stuff like that. But if you want a very solid model that's customized to your own use case, that's very close to state of the art and local, then yeah, you could just my camera died. Then yeah, you just train one locally and get that going. But let me put a battery in my camera. Alright, camera back. We are energized once again. Should use both of them specified in lang splits. Does it cover that? Yeah, Bloodmage, you can totally get away, I think, with like a 4060. I think maybe like a 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte. I think you can get away with. Not going to be the fastest, but it will work, and you have enough VRAM to cover a lot of models that require 12 gigabytes. I have a laptop that has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and it actually works. Like for most solutions, it actually works well. So you could get away with 8 gigabytes. But you're not going to be training anything crazy on 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Alright, let's go back here and try this out here. What's my opinion about the TTS Inveo 3? That's Google's, right? I have not looked at it too much. But the text to speech, VO3 is their video model, right? I listened to some of the audio out of the video model, and it's really good. I wonder if they can make that into text to speech, because the uh, like I'd say the video plus the audio, it's pretty convincing in some areas, and that would be interesting to see released as a standalone text to speech model. Will Chatterbox be open sourced? Well, Chatterbox is open sourced. It is an open source model by Resemble AI. So yeah, it will be. Will I open source my code here? Yes, this stuff is gonna be uploaded to GitHub sometime in the future. But found no NVIDIA driver on your system. All right. Oh, I don't have a GPU enabled here. Okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and run this again. ElevenLabs reader, everything going to paid route. I heard, I always felt it was coming. If you have anything that's free right now, will, in my opinion, become paid. Once they have market capture, they've got you. So that's why it's always good to have a alternative to text to speech. I don't think it's bad to pay for a service, but yeah, most free services provided by these companies, I think, will go paid. And so if you need alternatives, that's where things like Chatterbox TTS comes in. That's where like tools like the audiobook maker that I'm making is supposed to be a fill-in for that. And hopefully there will always be competition in the open source area that is allowed to, that offers open source options or alternatives. But yeah, 1 hour a week. Oof. Oh man, that is nothing. Holy moly. 1 hour is pretty poor. I don't think you're gonna get far with 1 hour a week. Now there are other like services out there, like the one that I covered, Fish Audio. I actually really like Fish Audio's latest model. Like, it covers like nonverbal tokens. It sounds really good. The voice cloning is really good, and they are fairly cheap. But I think they're also moving to they're changing their monetization strategy. And then of course, if you get a local solution, you're just paying for your electricity and whatever GPU you bought. Is there any rules for the TTS? Absolutely. No, just kidding. It's usually all dependent on the license. The Chatterbox license, I believe, is MIT or Apache 2.0, so you can use it for pretty much whatever. But like the models that I'm training right now are trained with CC BY 4.0 code. So yes, these ones could be used in literally whatever you want to use it for. You just have to attribute it. Like, I think some of the models that I am going to train, like ones that are a little bit better, I am going to release for members on my channel. So like the models will not be open sourced, dependent on how I feel I want to release it, because I need to give my members something in the channel, right? So I'm thinking about doing that for some of the like members perks on my channel for that. So some models, and then but all of the training code, all that stuff, I just throw it up on GitHub, so anyone could reproduce what I do. Train dataset does not implement. Ugh. Run training. Okay. Okay, So yeah, this was what I had ran into. This was the issue I'd ran into earlier with using a streaming data set. So let me see. I know I said I was gonna end in 15 minutes, but I've got this thing going on here. All right. Eval train. Okay, speech fine-tuning data set. Okay, so I can copy this. And then say... Okay, let's call this streaming. Say streaming equals none. Say streaming equals true. Slap streaming in here. Right, and then if streaming, then do this. Do streaming. Else. Alright. Alright, so this is just a messy little patch here while I test it out. And then I need to ask it if I need to ask Claude if it can help me out with this. I just set up this new method, new class here that needs to handle streaming data sets. I need to modify it, I believe, in it to handle Hugging Face streaming. Wait. Could you roadmap this and refactor my code to do this? It also needs to happen with eval 2. Alright, let's throw that in there. What's up, TTS Web UI? Will I be running this locally? No. I want to run it in the cloud. The reason I don't want to run locally is because my datasets are the Amelia Yoda's datasets, which are a little bit too big. And I don't want to download 400 gigabytes of data to train on. So I've been working with this cloud service provider called Beam, I think, which is I think is pretty fantastic. And I'm working out like how to run it to train on their GPUs instead. So I'm trying to do it on the cloud. Iterable. Okay. Yeah, I used to just want to train everything locally. which I still do. I still want to train everything mostly locally. The only issue is that number one, it's summertime. So given that it's summertime and 100 degrees in California, I don't want to be using crazy AC costs and all that stuff. So I'm looking into cloud solutions, and yeah, 400 gigabytes. Oh, that's way too big for freaking local training on a single 4090. I do like to run training during wintertime. That is for sure. During wintertime, I was training F5 TTS, I think Japanese, for like almost like 4 weeks. But it was literally just my heater. So that was great. 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, summertime, don't want to be doing that. So training on the cloud is can be expensive, but if you think about it, it's also faster if you're using a large GPU. So time is money, right? And so instead of training locally on a 4090 for like what? Yeah, instead of training locally on a 4090 for 4 weeks, which would save me some money. I'd prefer to just pay like $60 to train it in like a day or 2, and that's it, and be done. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so the F5 TTS model could actually speak Japanese well after literally like a few days of training. But I just wanted to train it much longer than I probably needed to, so yeah, $60 for a day instead of like a few weeks. It makes total sense. Like I can literally, okay, like a Big Mac meal costs like $16 here. So yeah, I just have to skip out on 4 Big Mac meals, and I have my model trained. So yeah, it's pretty much it. Yeah, I'll just do a couple noodles, and that's good enough. Yeah, no, time is money, for sure. Absolutely. That's why cloud is so huge. Like you're not gonna see, like you're not gonna see any of these big corporations using their like well, if you're big enough, yeah, you've got your own cloud server, you've got your own GPUs, but for the most part, I would just be using. I wouldn't need to build a data set for myself. I'm not that big, so I just use cloud services. Yeah. Yeah, Big Macs are expensive here. It's crazy. But yeah, that's a whole different other topic. But yeah, usually when I factor in like something that is going to be more efficient for like a task that I'm doing, I usually just compare it to food, because I'm like, okay, so if I just do less of this, I can gain more time here. So I'm like, all right, I'll just pay the money to speed up the amount of time it's gonna take. Hey, I would not doubt it if they have optimized libraries. Well, like, wasn't OpenAI the one who created Triton or something like that, where a lot of optimizations are used? Like, yeah, I could see it. Yeah, for like the ultra big companies, I could entertain the theory. But I feel like if that was really the case, there's enough people that are using. I feel like there are enough people that are training these things out there that would be able to kind of sniff it out a little bit. Like some people are crazy into optimizing optimizations. So I feel like something like that would get figured out. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I feel no, I could believe it. Yeah, I don't think it's currently at that level yet to where I can just say, hey, Cloud Code, can you optimize Chatterbox TTS? It'll get lost. Like, I still generally need a guide. I do need to guide like the whole process when using it, or else like what ends up happening is things start spiraling out of control, and there are code diffs that are done that make no sense towards the goal that I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, it's still not there yet, but it's getting it better. I hope it's gonna get better. Don't know for sure. I did see there was an optimization that was released for Chatterbox TTS. Chatterbox TTS. What is it? Optimization. I think I did see something on Reddit. Shoot. Somebody shared it in my Discord. What was it? It was optimized. This? No. This? Is this? I think it was this. Optimized Chatterbox TTS. So I did see this. I haven't got a chance to try it out, but yeah, seems like somebody's done some hard work out there to optimize it a little bit. Was that you? Okay. Alrighty. Well, that is you. Well, appreciate the work. Oh, Dasar. That's you? Okay, I make the connection. Okay. I've used several of your stuff too. I used your RVC Python library too. Appreciate it. Making the connections between my commenters and stuff like that. It's always mind-blowing to see. Alrighty, well, I'll have to take a look at this. I'll probably take some time to look at this offline and try to get it optimized. And it works with the Japanese weights. That's great. That means I don't have to do that means we literally don't have to do any changes to the architecture. We just have to run the optimizations and it'll work. What is my end goal for this TTS? You're making a plan in cloud service and compete with 11 labs. I wish I wish I did have grand goals for a TTS service. Probably makes a decent amount of money, but at the current moment, no. I think really I've said this many times, but the main goal for me figuring out text to speech is I really just wanted to create audiobooks that sounded like the characters that are voicing them in like anime. It's literally just that simple. I was like, okay, well, this AI stuff is coming out, so is there a way to read out this audiobook that sounds like, I don't know, Naruto or something, Tanjiro? That was it. So that still kind of is like not my, that is still kind of in the back burner of like my goals with TTS is I just want to keep up with the most realistic text to speech. That's pretty much it. I don't plan on making any crazy cloud service. And that's why I do develop the audiobook maker though, because yeah, I use it to listen to things. Almost 2 hours. Oh, for my stream? I've almost been in streaming for 2 hours? Wow. No wonder my throat is feeling hoarse and dry. I've only had 1 cup of water and I've been talking for 2 hours. That's crazy. Wow, crazy, crazy. But alrighty. So I just accepted all of these diffs into my code without actually reading it. So we'll see if it works. But modify, change, dataset loading. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. Alrighty. To train the voice conversion part, that would be the that would be like the voice encoder, right? I don't know if there's a script out there to train the voice encoder model. I thought the S3 gen was for like prosody and whatnot. Like if we go into Chatterbox TTS or VC, maybe this one right here, huh? VC Chatterbox voice conversion. I haven't checked this out actually. I'll have to see. I'll have to look into this. I don't know if there's okay, it's their S3 gen model for oh, it's just their S3 gen model? I didn't yeah, I haven't looked at this one. Where's the readme at? Readme. Okay, nothing in the readme for that. I'll have to take a look at the VC model, see if that's something that's trainable. That's the S3 gen model, I believe, right? Object has no attribute process streaming item. Let's see. Where would this come from? Speech fine-tuning dataset. Why did this edit this? Why did it edit the... It edited the non-streaming in Dataset 1. Alright, well, let me go back and add that. I think it was length here. Yeah. Don't know why that was there. Okay. There's no streaming item. Also, please do not modify the non-streaming class. Let's see, Johnny question. I think the current AI have the capability to view text in games, read out the words like a voice actor. That would be so cool for games with no voice actors. Current AI have the capability to view text and read it out. It does. I don't like the current text-to-speech models out there. Could replace voice actors in certain areas, but it's not gonna be like you'd have to sit there and try to prompt it and get the correct sounding text to speech. I think for quite a bit of time. So right now probably it's like right now I could probably see a convincing demo, but I don't think it'd be ready for the production. Like if you're a solo developer though, you could definitely use these tools to produce voice acting for your game if you're really dedicated into it. Alright, so let's see. You're right. Browser streaming. All right. I don't know why it's having Claude Code is having such a hard time finding the streaming class. It's literally there. Speech fine-tuning dataset. Oh wait. Or did I change the name? Yeah, speech fine-tuning dataset streaming. It's literally there. Like, what the heck? What in the world is going on here? All right, let's. What does need? I'll add it manually to the class. to find it. You can. The class is what's the product? What's the overpricing? Also need the helper method. Process streaming item. An audio text from streaming item. Okay, so I need to modify this. Please, can you implement the changes into the class? It starts at line 895 and ends at 640. Okay. Okay, let's see. Added both missing methods. Okay. Right. Let's see. Let's do the call. Remote. Hey, what's up, Soul? Thank you for tuning in. Excuse me. Chatterbox. Does VC stand for voice cloning or voice conversion? There's two acronyms for it. In the case of voice cloning, yeah, I would agree that the accents they don't really carry over. So you'd have to train those in. You'd have to fine tune those in. But like my Japanese English model right now, it speaks English with a Japanese accent. So you can definitely train the accents into it. Do I have it still running? Yeah, it's still running here, so I could show you. Let's just get some random piece of text in here. Say here, get a Japanese voice, generate with it. Go ahead and mute my music. And we can take a listen.
We are excited to introduce Chatterbox, Resemble AI's first production-grade open-source TTS model. Licensed under MIT.
Oh, this actually sounds pretty English. Let me see. See if we can get a generation with a Japanese accent. But yeah, to get an accent, you would need to train on that language a little bit more.
We're excited to introduce Chatterbox, Resemble AI's first production-grade open-source TTS model.
Yeah, so it's there a little bit. I do think it gets exacerbated if you have conditioning speech before it. So if I went to grab like some Japanese speech here, I have Japanese before the English speech. It'll generally read out English in a more of a Japanese accent, but we'll see if this does it.
硬い地べたの感触を顔面に味わい、彼は自分が打つ伏せに倒れたのだと気づいた。We are excited to introduce Chatterbox, Resemble AI's first production grade open source TTS model.
So there it is. Yeah, it's I don't know exactly how all of the predictions are being done inside of the model, but right here we are priming it with some Japanese, and then we have the English after, which generates it in a Japanese accent. There are some, like you can omit certain parts of speech by modifying the inference loop, but yeah, right now I don't really have one that could do it for Japanese, so.
地べたの感触を顔面に味わい。We are excited to introduce Chatterbox, Resemble AI's first production grade open source TTS model.
Yeah, so that has a pretty I think pretty decent Japanese accent there. But yeah, if I just remove the Japanese now for whatever reason, it will start to read it out in more of a English accent.
We are excited to introduce Chatterbox, Resemble AI's first production grade open source TTS model.
So yeah, I don't know exactly why that happens. There's something else that's going on in there, but yeah, you can train it. You can train the T3 CFG model and that'll get you a little bit better accents. Yeah, it pulls it very close to what you're using in training. So, excuse me. Alrighty, well, that's gonna be it though for this live stream though, guys. I hope I want to do these a little bit more frequently so that I can interact with the chat and answer some questions. But yeah, this was kind of just a one-off for this. It was just working on some things a few hours ago and decided to go live. So for all those of you guys who tuned in and all those that are still tuned in, very much appreciate you guys tuning in to watch the live stream. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it on the VOD after this gets uploaded to YouTube. But Saul, I'll answer your last questions and any recommendations on type of training data. Um, for training data, make sure it's as clean as possible, no background noise, and then you don't want overlapping speakers. So if you want to have if you want to train or like if you want to have it speaking well, you want to make sure there's no overlapping speakers. So studio grade audio, of course, as close as you can get to it is desired, but yeah, and always train on the type of data that you want it to sound out. Any text-to-speech engine, I've found that if you want it to sound a certain way, well, you just need to train it on that data. And if the text-to-speech model if the architecture is good enough, it'll usually be able to kind of mimic and copy that. So, yeah. Myron, thank you for tuning in. I am closing off the live stream for now because I gotta go. But yeah, I will catch you guys later, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and peace.